Hello, this video has been designed to discuss how to add attendance to your Moodle course. First, I'm going to click the Turn Editing On button. Now I'm going to scroll down and click Add an Activity or Resource. Now I'm going to click the Attendance Activity, and now I'm going to click the Add button. Once I click Add, I'm brought to a General Settings page. First, add a name for the attendance activity. It's defaulted to attendance, so I'm going to leave the name as attendance. For the grade, it's defaulted to 100. It is suggested to leave the grade as 100. Do not select any of the scales because there will be a grade of 0 for the attendance. So again, it is suggested to just leave the grade as a 100 for the settings. Next, click Save and Display. Now you will have the opportunity to add sessions within the attendance activity. You will have 5 tabs to choose from. The Sessions tab provides all of the sessions that you've added to the attendance activity. You can add sessions to the activity by clicking on the Add tab. You can click the Report tab to receive a comprehensive view of the student information regarding their presence within the session. So if they attended, you will see they attended the session. They could be absent from the session, late to the session, so you can see all of that information. You can export that information by clicking on the Export tab and export the attendance information to an Excel file. And then you could click the Settings tab if you wanted to add another variable, such as a student attended a session remotely. So you could, you don't have to be limited to just the P for present or a for absent. You could add variables to the attendance sessions. So for now, I'm going to click on the Add tab to add a session to the attendance activity. Once I click Add, I have some options for the session. The session type is defaulted to Common. I can create multiple sessions for the example. If I have a class that meets 3 times a week, I would click Create Multiple Sessions. But if I'm just taking attendance for an online chat session, I could just have this be a one-time attendance session. But let's say I want to take attendance throughout the entire semester and the class meets 3 times a week. So I would click Create Multiple Sessions. The session date would start today. The duration would be 1 hour. And I'll change the month to January, and we'll make it be for 1 month. So then I'll move on to session days, and then the class will meet Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the frequency would be that the class meets every week. And if the class were to meet every other week, then I would click 2. If the class were to meet every 3rd week, then I would click 3, and so on and so forth. And the description would be just, I'll put test class. And now I'm prepared to take attendance if I have a class that meets Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. And I simply can just take attendance right from within Moodle. And then I would go ahead and click the Add Session button. Once I click the Add Session button, it will keep me within the Add tab. So now I'm going to click on the Sessions tab to see the sessions I recently added. Now you can see the sessions that have been added. So the type is Common. You'll see the time and the date. Now the date will be first here, so it will be the 3rd of December, and then it will go from the 5th of December. So you may be used to seeing 12/3/14 or 12/5/14. So just be aware of that little change there. And then the description is the description that we put in, which was a test class. And then you have actions to actually take attendance, which is this green dot. And then you have the pencil to edit the session, or you can delete the session. Up here we have a button that we can choose the date. So if I go to Monday, December 8th, you will see now I have Monday added because we were on a Wednesday. That's why we didn't see the Monday. So now you can take attendance every single week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So let's say I wanted to take attendance on Friday, December 5th. And I will take a look. I see the 5th of December, and then I would go ahead and click on the green dot to take attendance. Once I click on the green dot, I'm now able to take attendance, and you can see the key, P equals present, L equals late, E equals excused, and A equals absent. So I will say that I was present, and the student test will be, we'll say that that student was absent. I can also add remarks. So maybe that the absence was excused, and then maybe I can change it to an E for an excused absence, and I can make a little note and say sick, so I know that that student was out sick that day. And then I click the Save Attendance button. One thing to note when you are clicking Save Attendance, if you have a long list of students, and as you see it's page 1 of 1, there's only one page because there are only 2 students. If you have a long list and you have 15 students per page displayed, and then you have to go to the next page, each time you go to a next page, you must click Save Attendance. Again, just make sure you click Save Attendance each time you go to the next page while you're taking attendance, because it will not save if you go to the next page and you don't click Save Attendance. You will now see that the green dot changed to a green arrow, and if you hover over the green arrow, it will say Change Attendance, not Take Attendance. You can always click on the green arrow to change the attendance. Now let's click on Report. If I click on Report, now I can see a summary of the student attendance. And you could see that the student test was out sick, and we see that's an E for excused absence. And you can see all of the information about the attendance for that session. Now, if I want to see a more comprehensive report, I can click All, and that will give me a list or a view of the attendance for the entire session. So I'm going to click All, and now you can see that more comprehensive view, which will be more helpful as you take attendance throughout the class. You're going to want to be able to scroll and see all of the attendance information. And you could always go back to a week view or a day view or click All. I like to be in the All view just because I can have that comprehensive view. Within the Sessions tab, you can also click All, and as you see, you have a more comprehensive view of all the class meetings for that particular attendance session that we set up from the Add tab. Now, if you go to Settings, click on the Settings tab, I can add variables to the session. So if I wanted to have information about students that attend class remotely, I can just put remote, and I can say that that's worth 2 points, and I'm going to click Add. Now you can see that you have the R that will mean remote for taking attendance. You can also delete it by clicking the X or hide it, or you can hide the excused or present variables as well. So you have a lot of control and flexibility on the variables for taking attendance. And then finally, you would click Update to finalize your changes and additions to the variables of your attendance session. Now, if I wanted to export my attendance information to an Excel file, I would click the Export tab. And I would select All Participants. Now, the one important checkbox we need to pay attention to is Select All Sessions. I want to uncheck this box, and I will have the start of the period. We'll just set it as May, but I'm going to change this to January, and I'll change the year to 2015 because remember that's the session end date that we selected. And now I'm going to click OK, download in Excel format, and I'm going to open the Excel document. And now you can see you have an Excel document with the attendance session information. So in conclusion, the attendance activity can be a useful tool to take attendance for one session, or you could use it for a class that spans the entire semester. So this concludes the video on how to add attendance to your Moodle course.